Hey, what is going on, Miami Dolphins fans? Welcome back to the Fins Up Network. It is Ben Morgan, and yes, it's only Wednesday, but since we are playing on Thursday night football in front of that primetime audience, Amazon Prime TV, I'm wrapping up Bengals week with my final preview and prediction video. Got viewer questions to get to, final score prediction to get to, and my apologies in advance if I missed your question this week. Obviously, having to record earlier than usual this week, so it was a tight turnaround to get questions submitted. So, in the event you have a question that you didn't have time to submit prior to me recording this video, go ahead, drop that question in the comments, and I will get to it there as well. But real quick, right before we get started today, let's hear your final score predictions between the Dolphins and the Bengals as well. Want to hear what you've got? Drop your final score predictions in the comments below. And if you haven't done so yet, make sure you are subscribing because we are getting close to 2,000 subscribers. So thank you for all the loyal listeners, everyone that's been subscribed so far, and everyone that's been commenting. Let's get this puppy up to 2,000. And I'm going to kick things off this week with some Skylar Thompson talk of all things. I had multiple questions come in regarding him, regarding the quarterback position. So I've sort of blended all the questions that came in regarding quarterbacks and Skylar. And I came up with the following, and it's with how bad Teddy looked against the Bills. I did steal that from someone as part of their actual question. Do you think the Dolphins will opt to keep Skylar Thompson active on game days? Well, first things first, in regards to Thursday's games, as of right now, it sounds like Tua will be active, will be good to go. However, since he clearly will not be 100% for this game, it would not absolutely surprise me if they were to keep Skylar Thompson active this week in case Tua gets injury, in case his current injury gets worse, forcing him out of the game. Because then obviously if something were to happen to Teddy Bridgewater, because yes, even though a lot of fans didn't like how he looked last Sunday against the Bills, he is still your quarterback too. I don't want to know what plan C looks like if it isn't Skylar Thompson. However, let's play the hypothetical game here and say that it's week 5, Tua is 100% healthy. Then do you keep Skylar Thompson active? My answer to this would be probably not. The Miami Dolphins so far have only kept Tua and Teddy as their active quarterbacks on game day for the first 3 weeks of the season. So I think the coaching staff's belief in Teddy is stronger than the fans' belief in Teddy based on what we've seen so far. And they're going to ultimately decide that the entire offseason body of work, everything they saw from OTAs, from training camp, from preseason, is going to outweigh the little bit of 3 plays that he was in there last week against Buffalo. So I think they would stick to the course, not really change what their philosophy was from the start of the season. And I know that makes a lot of us nervous because, man, from what the little bit that we did see and from how good Skylar did look in preseason, I kind of would feel comfortable with him as the quarterback too. But I don't think that's how it plays out. I think Teddy is your quarterback too. And in regards to this week, I could say it's probably 50-50 as to whether or not Skylar is activated. Going to come down to exactly how comfortable they feel with Tua's current injuries. But let's move on. Next question. Do you think at some point we'll see a more balanced offense? The Dolphins are currently 29th in rushing attempts. And I really like this question because honestly, I thought we'd see a more concentrated effort to get the ground game going, especially early in the season. But for a variety of reasons so far, we're near the bottom of the league when it comes to rushing attempts. And the variety of reasons is why that total is so low. And that kind of blends into my answer for this question. So I want to go through those reasons real quick here because week 1 sort of had the game in hand, still couldn't find success really on the ground, averaged 2.8 yards per carry that game, finished with just 23 rushing attempts. And it's been downhill ever since because week 2 trailed pretty much the entire game, trailed too early in the game to really work on like a ground and pound, finished with 18 attempts. And then last week, week 3, we only had the ball for 39 total plays. 17 of them were rushing attempts. So that's a little bit more of an even distribution. But how I think we eventually see this pass run distribution kind of playing out is over the next quarter of the season. As you guys have watched me before, I kind of break the season down in the quarters. And after this game against the Bengals, will be entering the second quarter. And so far from quarter one, we've seen the offense kind of coming along a little quicker than I thought it might. But teams are realizing that the Tua, Waddle, Tyreek trio is a problem. And they're going to make an emphasis to try to take the pass game away. And keep in mind the injuries along the offensive line as well. Teron Armstead has basically been dinged up since week one. Austin Jackson gets hurt week one, goes on short-term IR. Greg Little in and out of last week's game with his injury. So we sort of knew that this offense as a complete unit would take some time to gel. And while the pass game has shown up, we're still waiting for that run game. But I think Mike McDaniel knows that he's got to make defenses fear and respect this run game in order for the offense to reach its full potential. So, yes, I do think we'll eventually see it balance out a little bit more between the run and passing attack. But I don't think it's going to be as much running as I initially thought when we hired Mike McDaniel as a former run game coordinator, because he said it before, he's going to put his own stamp on this Shanahan style of offense. He's going to best utilize the skill players, the skill sets that he has at his disposal. And he knows what he has in Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, and he's not going to let that fall onto the back burner. Let's go on to the third question before the official prediction for this week. And it's Josh Boyer, defensive coordinator, keeps dropping Jalen Phillips into coverage. When is this going to stop? So anyone that's been following up with this channel knows that I am anti-dropping Jalen Phillips into coverage. But unfortunately, I don't really think it's going to come to an end anytime soon. And one of the reasons I say that is because players will drop off from random spots at the snap when we're in that zero blitz look. It can literally be anybody. So sometimes it's going to be Jalen Phillips. It keeps the guessing game alive for the quarterback, for the offensive line. And another reason I say that is because they technically have Jalen Phillips listed as a linebacker. He went through some linebacker drills in camp, and it sort of feels like one of those deals where this coaching staff is just going to continue to almost be stubborn in a sense, be stubborn about it just because that's the way that they want to do it. And obviously that reason right there is 100% speculative. But I do find it funny that Jalen Phillips' best play in pass coverage so far this season actually came on the play last week where he was initially rushing Josh Allen, stopped because he read the little swing pass that was coming, and then he got his hands up and damn near made the interception. So, yeah, I mean, I'm okay with dropping back every once in a while in that zero blitz scheme, but unfortunately, I don't see this coming to an end anytime soon. But let's jump into that final score prediction. And it's right there, as you can see. I got the Dolphins as 10-point winners, 27-17. I think they're the better team in this matchup. The thing that scares me is, can the defense hold up and perform on a short week after playing all of those snaps last week? But like I said in yesterday's video, in the Keys to Victory video, go back and check that out if you haven't done so already. It would be great if the Dolphins can start this game fast and then work in that run game, kill the clock, win the time of possession battle, help the defense out simply just as much as possible. And obviously with Tua not being 100% coming into this game, protecting him is going to be even more crucial than this week than it typically is on a weekly basis. I mean, obviously you want to keep your starting quarterback healthy, but if we can continue to get consistent play from the offensive line, if the defense can find a way to play on adrenaline, hold up, I really like our chances of leaving Cincinnati with a 4-0 record, still atop the AFC East, and likely considered to be one of the top 2 to 3 teams in the NFL. But let's hear your predictions as well. Like I said, drop those in the comments. Let's get this win on Thursday night. I will be back after the game on Thursday with my recap and takeaways, so make sure that you are subscribed and checking that out. But that is my time for today, Dolphins fans. And until next time, fins up.